On March 18th, after months of speculation, no data mining and no public test realm, Blizzard dropped the much anticipated Dragonflight patch 10.2.6. The mystery behind the pirate flag on the roadmap was finally revealed to be a Battle Royale time-limited event made with Warcraft assets. Whee!
Ahoy there! Hope you're ready for a bit of plunder and fun.
Right away there was discourse. See, Plunderstorm wasn't just an experimental game mode to try for people while they waited for Season 4. It has FOMO rewards. FOMO, or the fear of missing out, is a psychological effect that plays on the human fear of being left out or missing opportunities. Experiencing FOMO can be an annoying part of modern life, but it's also an effective design tactic or sales strategy. Research suggests that FOMO can impact people's behavior and decision making. For instance, telling somebody a deal is a one-time limited offer is an effective way to improve sales. Social media, streaming platforms, and games are increasingly designed to play on people's FOMO to increase engagement. We know you don't really want to do this, but if you don't get this shiny toy and like everyone already has it. So look at this new release. It's in the top 10 of watch time. Everybody's talking about it. You have to watch it. It's you think you do, but you don't.
You think you do, but you don't.
But in reverse. Plunderstorm is a 60-player versus player battle royale built with World of Warcraft assets. You log into retail WoW and switch to Plunderstorm at the top. Oh wow, it's a limited event, no way. You are then logged in with your Battle.net name and you can customize your character however and whenever you want. In regular World of Warcraft, from Classic to Retail, your abilities and your weapon skills are based on your class. As a mage, I can carry a staff or a dagger in an offhand, and I can do fire, frost, and arcane damage with my spells. Enemies are targeted with tab or by clicking their nameplates, and they are killed with abilities, or with one spell and then wanding, so you don't go if you're playing classic hardcore. Melee players auto-attack between using their active abilities. Plunderstorm is a more action-oriented experience and has no auto-attacks. If you want to attack something, you have to actively use the attack button, or use spells which, with the exception of Rhyme Arrow, need to be aimed by the player. Plunderstorm is a completely different game mode using WoW assets. It doesn't have anything to do with World of Warcraft. Or does it? Because Plunderstorm offers players a renowned track they can grind out to get rewards for Dragonflight and for Wrath of Lich King Classic. The rewards can only be earned in Plunderstorm and the event is time limited, probably going away 6 weeks after its release. And a lot of people weren't too happy about that. And this is where I'll add, I actually like Blizzard taking risks and experimenting. I think it's pretty cool they added a new PvP mode and even managed to keep it secret until it was released. And I'm happy for the people that are enjoying it. And yes, after some buffs, it is easier to get levels on the Renown track, but using time-limited rewards to give players FOMO and artificially boost engagement is a shitty tactic. A common argument in favor of Plunderstorm's rewards design boils down to, well, there are also other time-limited rewards in WoW that aren't achievable for every player, so what's the issue? Essentially, if you don't care about the content, you shouldn't care or feel FOMO for the rewards. Full disclosure, I'm pretty shit at PvP, as you can see right here, so I don't think I'll ever get a gladiator mount, but there are some key differences between Plunderstorm and WoW PvP. Yes, PvP rewards like the Glad Mount or Elite sets are time limited, but they are seasonal, which means you usually have a few months to work towards them. For reference, the average Shadowlands season was 23.5 weeks, with Season 4 being significantly shorter at 12 weeks. Shadowlands Season 2, notorious for how inflated the PvP rating was and how easy it was to become a gladiator, was 32 weeks long, lasting from July 21 until February 22. Yes, these rewards are FOMO too in the sense that they will also go away and will forever be unobtainable afterwards, but there is an obviously big difference between 6 weeks and 8 months. Most PvP rewards are also skill-based, locked behind reaching a certain rating threshold. While there are issues with this, like having seasons where the rating is either too deflated or too inflated, I know at the start of the season which rewards should be attainable to me. Yes, there is FOMO content in World of Warcraft. There has always been FOMO in World of Warcraft. It's a modern seasonal game. FOMO is a part of the deal. However, for much of the other FOMO content in Warcraft, you know in advance what's it going to be, how long you have to get the rewards, and what skill level you need to be at to get the rewards. Unlike PvP and the other endgame pillars of WoW, getting Plunderstorm rewards doesn't mean you have to be good at Plunderstorm. It means you have to optimize your time in Plunderstorm. To get rewards, you need to grind out renown levels capped at level 40. In order to level up, you need to get 2500 reputation with the Keg's Leg crew per level, so 100,000 for all rewards. Reputation gains per game are based on how much you plunder you can pick up per match. In videos like these, and guides like this one on Wowhead, content creators have laid out a strategy for the many players that want the rewards but dislike PvP content, aren't good at it, or just dislike Plunderstorm, and it boils down to this. Dive bomb in, preferably in an area with plenty of PvE mobs but no human opponents. Try to complete your captain's orders, your quest, as quickly as possible for the 250 plunder bonus, and then you have a decision to make. Do you stay in the match trying to get as much plunder as possible, or do you die to one of the other players or to the storm? It turns out that outside of being good enough to actually win matches and get 3000 or so rep at the end of the match, the most effective way to grind out the rewards for people that don't like this mode is to just jump into the storm after completing their quest. The strategy is so popular it's called the Cult of the Storm Wall. Yes, the possibility of getting 3000 reps at the end of a hard-fought 10-minute match is cool, but dying with 400 rep and queuing back into a new match within 1 or 2 minutes, that's efficiency. Stonks. Is that fun? Not really, but the people resorting to efficiency tactics aren't having fun, they are grinding out rewards that they want. In his article, Remastering Dark Souls, Timothy Welsh writes that live service games aren't designed to be a fun experience. They are designed with monetization in mind. They are trying to delay or frustrate player progress for as long as possible to keep players playing. For the player, the objective of play shifts away from beating the design challenges of the game to the metagame of finding the most efficient in-game currency extraction methods. Being shit at this mode, but using the methods that the community helpfully shared, I can get renown level every 20 minutes or so. That's not bad, but it's still a 13-hour grind, which I need to complete between mid-March and probably early May. Which is also on top of this being a secret event, which means that some people are missing out simply because they have to plan their WoW time and didn't know it was coming up. There are still plenty of people out there genuinely enjoying Plunderstorm, playing well beyond the 100k plunder required to get all the rewards, with some even getting the feat of strength for 1 million plunder. But the general consensus based on Reddit, YouTube comments, forums, and the lobby of the game itself seems to be, I can't wait until I'm max renowned so I can stop playing this. When we're just starting out with something and we're not sure if we're going to stick with it, be it a new game or a habit, extrinsic rewards help motivate us to keep grinding it out. After a while, the activity might also come with intrinsic rewards like enjoying the moment. For players that do enjoy Plunderstorm, the rewards might have lured them in at first, but they enjoyed the experience for intrinsic reasons. They had fun, so they decided to stay. The extrinsic reasons become less important, and how we feel becomes the thing that motivates and reinforces the activity. Intrinsic rewards are more reliable because they come from ourselves and our identity and are usually not influenced by external factors like a time limit or rewards. The argument here isn't that Blizzard should be giving out Plunderstorm rewards for free. It's that they are either boosting engagement by compelling players to spend 200 matches in a game mode that they don't like by telling them that the extrinsic reason to play this game mode will be gone soon. The thing getting them into it, the rewards, need to be earned now. If players are free to work on rewards in their own time, they may do it today or tomorrow, or they may never get to it. I am still working on the Winter Spring Frost Saber like 20 years later because I keep forgetting to do the dailies and because I know the content isn't going anywhere. There's literally zero urgency. I will get to it eventually, or I'll stop playing someday and never get it. But content that's under threat of being removed, especially without a clear idea of when it might come back, feels more urgent. I need to do this now or it will be gone forever. In order for FOMO to work as an effective game design tool, the player needs to believe that missing the event or missing the rewards means missing out on them for a long time, or maybe even forever. The author of the article, Product Design and Psychology, the Exploitation of Fear of Missing Out, FOMO, in video game design, argues that FOMO can also exist in non-competitive games and gives Animal Crossing New Horizons as an example. Yes, Animal Crossing uses the Switch's internal clock and date settings to offer a real-time experience, which involves events at certain holidays, but, and this is a big but, That is only when you play the game as intended. If you say go into your Switch settings, you can set the date and time of your console manually. This will allow the player to time travel to access whatever holiday event or date that they want to. The Animal Crossing example is obviously different from live service multiplayer games where the player has no influence on the in-game time and is unable to access the event or its rewards after it's ended, outside of inventing a time machine. In live service games, players that want rewards or want to engage in the event need to be there playing it when it's live or be okay with missing out forever. Or in the case of World of Warcraft, whenever Blizzard decides to cycle it back into rotation. For April Fools, Blizzard decided to be cute and respond to criticisms of Plunderstorm and its rewards by writing in their fake patch notes, "Plunderstorm, the sequel. Coming very soon, we're releasing a completely non-PvP sequel to Plunderstorm. This event has no PvP whatsoever, and it's super easy to pick up all the rewards as they're just lying on the ground in the relative safety of the starting zones. Look for this relaxing in-game activity on your calendar under the name Noble Garden." In the comments on the Noble Garden holiday mount, one player said, "The fact that they made that Plunderstorm joke just shows they just only skimmed the feedback and not actually read anything. Nobody was asking for free stuff for doing nothing. People asked for not having to cram 200 plus games in a limited time PvP-based event." While I was working on this script, Noble Garden was up on servers with a new mount for players to farm. Killing a special holiday boss dropped a quest item on the first kill of the day per character. Turning in the quest rewarded players with a loot-filled basket that could contain the mount, transmog, or holiday currency. The mount has a 1% drop chance with an increased drop chance for the first account-wide attempt of the day. Despite this being the new norm for holiday events, this had to be hotfixed in later after people complained about the drop rates. The idea is that with the increased drop chance, people would feel less forced to run multiple characters through the event, but Noble Garden is a once-a-year weekly event. People were always going to run through this with several characters to maximize their chances of getting the rewards. There is a worse offender, however, and WoW players will know where I'll be going with this.
So you should have a box in your inventory, a heart-shaped box. When you open
Aww. It's from Evan.
it's not. And if it has a rocket in it, fuck you.
Box. Yeah, right click it. I got an X45 Heartbreaker.
What?
Ah yes, X45 Heartbreaker, the yearly returning nightmare of cycling all your alts through the Shadowfang Keep Love is in the Air dungeon event in hopes of getting a mount that has a 0.06% drop chance. Heartbreaker has been in the game since February 2010 and is only owned by 3% of Wowhead profiles. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with rarity or having a reward that's hard to get. The achievement, A Tour of Towers, and its mount reward, Soaring Spell Tome, are also only owned by 3% of Wowhead profiles, but that mount requires player effort. It offers a fun challenge, which can be a reward in itself, and is available for players to work towards whenever they want. Getting Heartbreaker means logging in every day on multiple characters for 2 weeks, and then statistically waiting another year to do it all again. The issue isn't just rewards being in other game modes or rewards being random. Combining those tactics with an expiration date, Blizzard have created the circumstances to compel players to keep playing, even if they don't enjoy what they're doing. Getting a reward or anticipating a reward can cause players to increase their playtime in games. In fact, expecting a reward can be just as motivating or even more motivating than actually getting the reward. Game developers, especially of live service or subscription-based games like World of Warcraft, design their games around the concept of the carrot on a stick, always making sure their players have something to chase. In a lot of modern live service games, the method of engaging players and getting them to chase rewards is through battle passes. Battle passes are reward tracks, usually monetized separately from the rest of the game, that give players time-limited in-game rewards for doing activities. If the time on the battle pass runs out, but the player hasn't collected all the rewards, they're out of luck. Battle passes increase player engagement because they don't want to miss out on the rewards later down the track, even if they don't really feel like playing, especially if they paid for the battle pass. While World of Warcraft, unlike other Blizzard games, doesn't use paid battle passes, it's important to remember that WoW is already monetized monthly through the subscription fee players pay. In that light, Plunderstorm, the trading post, and time-limited holiday events are a similar way to keep players engaged during the content lulls of the game. Don't unsubscribe, there's new secret content coming. With Season 3 wrapping up and Season 4 not really bringing anything new outside of dungeon scaling and raid item level scaling, the content drought can be bridged with a do it now or miss out forever events. It's even worse when randomness is added into the mix, which, if you really want the reward, can greatly increase your playtime to get it. I gave up on the Noble Garden mount because I didn't feel like logging in on all of my characters for 7 days, or until I randomly got it somewhere in between. So why even care about rewards? You can't collect everything anyway, and if you're not enjoying the mode, why bother going through with it? I don't think people need to be playing things they don't enjoy. However, I do think sometimes what they do enjoy is blocked by something they don't enjoy. During Shadowlands, raiders and dungeon players had to do Torghast weekly in order to farm resources to craft a legendary. There weren't many people that enjoyed this part of the experience. Torghast, a pretty cool feature on its own, became a must-do, also called Choreghast. I remember having to take time out of my dungeon runs on Tuesday to quickly do Torghast before reset. That wasn't fun, but I was doing it so I could do raids and dungeons, the content I did enjoy. For players that play WoW more casually, collecting can be the way they enjoy their time with the game. When people that love collecting complain online about feeling forced to do Plunderstorm for the rewards, a lot of the responses are along the lines of, nobody's forcing you, you're just addicted, or it's sunk cost fallacy. Technically, there's obviously nobody forcing people to play Plunderstorm, but people that enjoy collecting and want the rewards are going to have to choose if they want to invest 10 to 20 hours into another game mode, or if they want to leave the rewards behind, possibly forever. And to be honest, I don't think it matters what the individual situations of players that feel forced or compelled are. They might be addicted, but that definitely doesn't mean it's okay for game developers to use FOMO as a game design tactic. Sure, we could and should spend more time investigating our relationship to the game and how it's always been designed to, in the words of Timothy Welsh, foster in players a sense of sunk cost, whereby they rationalize spending more time and money on the game. In other words, yes, I think it's important for players to think about why they want to spend their time in a game doing something. But I also don't think it's constructive to dismiss people as addicts for doing something that the entire game design reinforces. Live service games are never ending, and they need to have something for players to chase, or they will probably get bored and stop playing. Collectors being upset that the new patch content contains items that they can only collect by doing something that they don't enjoy is fair enough in my opinion. If these items weren't time limited or were available in the actual game with a grind of similar length, the responses probably would have been different. Research suggests that while regret or anticipated regret aren't a necessary component of FOMO, when people believe their own decisions cost them or will cause them to miss out on something, regret or anticipating regret accompany FOMO. So the anticipation of regret and FOMO might cause players to go after rewards now despite not liking the gameplay. And I'll be honest, I truly considered if I'm just grinding out the run now because I feel like I don't want to miss out and regret my unwillingness to spend 10 plus hours doing something I don't enjoy, or because I truly want the rewards. The pirate outfit is cool, but will I ever use it? Probably not. I do really like the dragon riding mount you get at level 39, but I can't justify wasting my time doing something I don't enjoy. Plunderstorm isn't a quick play it once for the reward thing. Based on my average, I needed another 3.5 hours just to get to level 40, and that's not worth it in my opinion. But I don't think it's constructive to call people that do feel compelled to complete that grind addicts, because World of Warcraft is not only designed with sunk cost and FOMO strategies in mind, it's also a social game, and FOMO is a social phenomenon. The term was originally used to describe a phenomenon found on early social media sites like MySpace, where people spend a lot of time positively or negatively comparing themselves to others. I stopped the grind for this mount, but look, I see someone else on it and it looks pretty cool. Should I maybe go back to finish the grind anyway? I can't decide to do it later, but no. With social media showing us the perfect lives of others, a lot of people feel like they're missing out. And it's no different in games because it works. I think the argument that you can't collect everything anyway, so why bother, is also kind of silly because social FOMO relates to things we think we should be able to do or achieve, We're not measuring ourselves or feeling we're missing out to the 1% at the top, but to our peers. I don't feel like I'm missing out on rewards that would be almost impossible for me to achieve anyway, like the earlier mentioned gladiator mounts. Those are for people that are actually good at PvP. They are meant to be flex mounts. But rewards that are just based on doing a grind or otherwise easy to get and are very achievable suddenly become a decision. I have to choose to do this or not, and deciding not to right now means I'll miss out. But you can't play or collect them all. All modern games, even games that aren't run like a live service, manage player time one way or another. For instance, by being difficult or massive or both or high Elden Ring. For live service games, time is money, friend. In an interview with GameSpeed, Ian Hazzikostas, World of Warcraft game director, said they shifted midway through Shadowlands to a design philosophy that respected players' time more. So 9.1.5 reflects a shift towards more alt accessibility, more catch-up, more sensitivity and respect for players' time, trying to look at what sorts of activities are going to be interesting once or twice, but maybe less interesting when you have to do them more than that. Let's not make you do them more than that, versus which activities are part of the core repeatable loop, like running dungeons or PvP at max level. Things people want to get into without as many hurdles they have to clear on the way. The idea is to move away from making people do stuff for the sake of keeping them busy and make it easier to get into the content that they do enjoy. And from that point of view, if we ignore that it's a time-limited event with rewards in the core game, Plunderstorm fits the respect your time philosophy. It has 0 barriers to entry, it's accessible to everyone with a WoW subscription, and it has a quick and repeatable gameplay loop. I may not enjoy it, but it wasn't made for me. Just if you only care about the rewards, especially if it's a unique mount or an appearance, a time-limited event with items you desperately want to have is exploiting FOMO, and that's shitty design. But this has been a part of World of Warcraft history for forever. In order for players to keep playing, there needs to be some kind of rewards. In some games, the only reward is fun gameplay. Live service games are built on a system of keeping players invested over time, so while the gameplay might be fun, the core philosophy is boosting player engagement. And keeping players engaged with fun as a metric is difficult in a seasonal game with a diverse player base. There are competitive players that will do whatever is the most efficient way to gain a leg up. For them, that's part of the fun, or at least part of the way to the fun. As a more casual player, I don't need to do all that. So while I do think Blizzard shouldn't use predatory FOMO tactics against us and try to follow through on their respect player time philosophy, I also think there are things that we can do. The best way to get rid of FOMO in live service games is to actually miss out, to not participate in stuff you don't enjoy. FOMO in holiday events works because it actually boosts engagement. If it didn't, they would have stopped doing it years ago. But if you do want the rewards but hate the content, that's fine, and you shouldn't be okay with feeling forced to do something. But it's also important to step back and think, why am I doing this again? Personally, I've decided to only do stuff in games I enjoy doing, or that are a reasonable activity to get whatever I enjoy, meaning if the reward is worth it compared to the effort involved, I might go for it. I'm happy doing the meta achievement because I actually enjoy doing these activities, and also look at how cute this dog is. For Plunderstorm, I'm happy to miss out on the dragon riding pirate mount because I don't want to spend the extra 3.5 hours doing something I don't enjoy to get a reward that will collect dust in my collection. Thanks for watching.